They were what initially hooked me to CZW, actually. I think it's a pure adrenaline rush. There are a lot of risks that go into it, and it's obviously heightened because they're cutting themselves, but a lot of those same risks do happen in professional wrestling because
It does happen. My first TUD actually ripped open my kneecap.
This is why I attempted to join CZW, was for the ultra-violent tournament style, and that's why I lived it out to do so. I was here since the first Tournament of Death as a fan watching, so in there, watching my hero Sick Mondo win this tournament himself.
This is the scariest show of the year for me.
CZW seems like the most safest place to do it, but you never know when you go to these obscure places. Like I've been to Alabama a lot, and for the smaller companies, and that risk definitely takes a higher toll at times. And
you know, I loved the hardcore aspect of ECW, and this, you know, in my more impressionable years, you know, my first time seeing CZW, I saw the light tubes, and it was like ECW times 100. So
100%.
I didn't actually think I'd ever do it, and then kind of realized it's more of a work than people think it is. I mean, and they're the nicest guys around. Deathmatch guys are nicer than the regular wrestlers. Everybody takes care of each other.
Who would you say is the most famous person to ever compete in the Tournament of Death?
John Moxley, Dean Ambrose.
Of the Shield?
Of the Shield. There's lots of things I don't like. I don't like doing any of it, to be honest. I mean, I would like to wrestle more. Unfortunately, there's a big line that I'm looking at of cars, and there's a bus, and we test for HIV, hepatitis A, B, and C.
The brutality is what attracts people, but also turns people away. Like, some people have never really seen anything like this. Like,
I debuted for my first show at CZW was Tournament of Death 5 in 2006, and I've done one every year except 2010. So it takes a lot of talent to be a good deathmatch wrestler. I'm grateful to kind of walk away from it with good health and with my head held high. And BJW, WXW, CZW, they all make sure their guys get blood tested at least, you know, a couple times a year, and I think that's great. You know, deathmatch wrestling will always be my art. I always have love for it, especially when it's, you know, when it's done right, and when there's a story told in it, and when the crowd is with you, and there's almost nothing like it.
I think this is one of the most stacked lineups in the history of the tournament itself. A lot of international and overseas talent mixed with the CZW regulars.
I think we do the best job of getting the best talent. There are a lot of deathmatch wrestlers out there who are very one-sided and good at being one-sided. We try to make sure that we get wrestlers who are, you know, what Johnny's called the hybrid guys who can actually wrestle as well as bleed, guys who can high fly as well as bleed, and then there's tough motherfuckers who can kick the shit out of you. Actually, it's really cool to have June, as well as the other Japanese wrestlers and our Mexican friend Arrow Boy. It's always good to have international flavor, and obviously
I would say they take the elite guys that do this, put them in one tournament every year, and, you know, like, obviously you do that, you're going to get a good result.
You know, it's awesome to be able to, you know, wrestle in front of guys that you grew up watching. So, and I mean, June he's been around forever. So.
This show, specifically, Tournament of Death 13, is, since I have taken over CZW, the most expensive CZW show I have ever done. You have 4 international talents in that are the best in the world. I mean, they're bar none. You know, Jun Kasai, you know, Arrow Boy, you know, Takeda. I mean, you're talking every single person on this show has been blood tested. My vision of CZW is something for everybody. Always has been. That's why we have guys like Grey Excellence, where we have the Juicy Product, we have AR Fox, we have Drew Gulak, we have, you know, so many great guys, G's, Joker, you know, that can do a whole bunch of different stuff, not just this. And then we have Matt Tremont and Masada and Danny Havoc. And that's what makes it special.
Mexico, Tournament of Death.
Me! No pay, no pay, no pay.
All right, so
was crazy.
One and done this year, but I had the opportunity to be in there with somebody that's a legend of this style and genre of deathmatch wrestling.
I like when I dyed my hair blonde for TOD 6 maybe or 7, I don't remember. And Drake Younger's first thing, oh man, if we were in a boy band, you'd be the bad boy man. Thought that was good. Or
Easily the best in the United States. He's probably the best in the world. If it's not 1 and 2, he'll say it. He's probably the best of all time.
I don't think he'll be top.
I think him, them two, Masada, a completely bloodied wife beater, took a completely bloodied Nick Monato, put him in the ropes, fired a weed whacker up and drilled him in the stomach with it. To this day, we still get people asking about that and finding out about CZW through that. So guys, thank you, and you're fucking crazy.
John really loved to see creativity in death matches, not just like, I won't mention names of people he hated, but there were certain guys who brought in, he's like, I'll never bring that fucker back. He's hack and slash. He hits somebody, ooh. It's like, no, I want a guy that's gonna hit a wrestling move, then do something with a gimmick, because, you know, it's a progression. So, I mean, I just love the fact that John Zandig actually looked at it as an art form and really gave guys a lot of creative freedom to actually, you know, go out there and do stuff. And he kept people, you know, relatively safe, which I really appreciate.
Tournament of Death 14 will be right